are you tonight? I'm real glad to hear that. Now that Andy's destroyed all my political credentials, I'll try it anyway. It's been President's Day. It's kind of fascinating. I was watching CNN today, and a lot of people know this, but some don't. If John F. Kennedy hadn't been assassinated, he'd be younger than Ronald Reagan is now. You know that? It's interesting. And a lot of people don't know this. If Abraham Lincoln hadn't been assassinated, he'd be younger than Ronald Reagan. And most experts agree far less silly, too, which I thought was interesting. It's kind of interesting. I was watching Donahue from Russia this week. Anybody see that? Yeah, he did the Chernobyl. I'll never trust the Russians after Chernobyl, though, you know? Rude, thoughtless people, the Russians. We spend all that money on weapons, and they go and nuke themselves. It scares me because Ronald Reagan's getting older. He gets confused easily. He hears they took out Chernobyl, he'll retaliate. He'll take out Pittsburgh. I thought it was a little bit, poor McFarlane took 30 Valium, and I think people were being... the explanation that the Republican press secretary gave out, it's not that McFarlane didn't want to testify, he's just shy. Did you buy that? Kind of cruel, though. The man's almost in a coma, and Nancy Reagan calls him up about the Valium and says, just say no. CIA Director Casey has a brain tumor. That was, you know, a Republican with a brain tumor. They had to get it out right away, or it would have starved. I like it. The CIA is, do you ever get the feeling the CIA is an independent nation, not necessarily allied with ours? You know, it's kind of amazing. Congress told them not to send arms to Nicaragua. They said, screw you. Can you do that with Congress? Because I'd like to do that with the IRS, if I could get away with it. Actually, what I want to do is arm the IRS and have them attack the CIA. It's like the war between Iraq and Iran. Nobody gives a damn who wins, we just pray for casualties. What else has been going on? You get a feeling of deja vu, my friends, a sense that maybe we've seen this show before? Colonel North was shredding documents or appointing special prosecutors, the Senate's investigating. Somebody would slap that hopeful look off George Bush's face. Did you see that news clip? No, really, that news clip? Reagan and Bush were getting on a helicopter, and Reagan accidentally stepped on Bush's foot and said, pardon me, and Bush went... And the big issue is, as Mike was talking about, drug testing. How do you folks feel about drug testing? You're against it. I'm for it. I always try this shit out before I buy it. No, I'm a comic. I'm not worried. None of us are worried about drug testing. You know, they tried to get us, the police, after the shows with urine tests. They couldn't find anything. Well, they found drugs. They couldn't find any urine. So. It's kind of fascinating. Donahue again. They had somebody on from the FDA who was testifying about ecstasy. What is it, MDMA? Or whatever it is. And they said, why'd you make it illegal? You don't know for sure it hurts anyone. He said, well, that's true, but we don't know for sure it doesn't hurt you. And that sounds plausible until you think about it. They know for sure tobacco hurts us. It's legal. They know for sure alcohol hurts us. It's legal. It's not the hurting that bothers them. The not knowing drives them batshit. You know, as soon as they know it kills us, they'll legalize it. They're dropping like flies. Put on the shelf. Yeah. Right there between the red dye and the saccharin. Look good there. Yeah. Interesting concept. How do you feel about Ronald Reagan now, though? It's
Same as I did before.
People are changing, you know. I didn't like Ronald Reagan at first. I was a little bit worried about having, for president, a 10,000-year-old man who wears his hair like Fonzie. And I'm still not sure how I feel about his policies, but I do love his neck. That man has... You don't like his neck? Oh, I'd love to have a pair of boots made out of that. Come on, hippies. Wouldn't you like to get stoned just once, grab both ends of Reagan's neck and go... Don't like Nancy's neck, though. It's like piano wire. You can play her neck. Ding, 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 ding. I don't like her neck at all. Ronnie's got a beautiful... It hangs over his collar like a redneck's belly over his belt, and I think it looks comfortable. And he screwed up in foreign policy lately, but previously, I think Ronald Reagan brought pride back to America. We defeated Grenada and Libya. And all I gotta say is the Vatican and Monaco better watch their butts, man. Grenada, to me, was possibly the greatest moment in American history. To win a war, we had to attack a Caribbean resort. Well, you know, it's not that funny. They hushed this up. A lot of people don't know this. You know who the first person killed in Grenada was? Yeah, Mr. Rourke. Poor man saw the boats, he went, "Welcome to fantasy," and they blew his butt out of the water. Terrible moment, really. You can guess the punchline. They didn't even have radar. Little midget going, "Go plane, so plane." Blew his butt out. But I do think it's unfair. You know, people are criticizing Ronald Reagan about his insane foreign policy now with the Iranians. I think we've forgotten that's the point. Before Ronald Reagan, Nixon, Carter, Ford, Democrats, Republicans, we used to go around going, "Look, don't mess with the Ayatollah, he's nuts. He'll start a nuclear war. Don't mess with that Gaddafi, the man's nuts. He'll start a nuclear war. Don't mess with the Russians, they're nuts. They'll start a nuclear war." We got tired of that, gang. We elected Ronald Reagan. We told the rest of the world, "Yeah? You think you're nuts?" Well, we just elected for president a senile 75-year-old right-wing B-actor, and we're gonna give him nuclear weapons. And they bought it. The whole world's going, "Dear God, calm down. We'll fight with each other. You take a Valium." That's it, folks. Thanks an awful lot. Bye-bye.